I thought she was different. This is before she had any diagnoses. It just seemed she was a little stubborn. She was developing differently than I had ever seen another child develop. But I just kind of glossed over all of that because I was trying to, I don't know, I was trying to participate in life from the outside in.
Hi there, Soulful Mama. Welcome to the Soul Care Mom podcast. I'm Catherine Wild of soulcaremom.com. I'm a mom of 3 amazing kids, a soul care mom coach, and a yoga and meditation teacher. I've helped hundreds of women, and I'm here to help you feel calm and find your unshakable confidence as a mom. If you're ready to stop living in survival mode, and you're ready to drop the mom guilt and overwhelm, this podcast is for you. Think of this as a lunch date with a girlfriend. Grab a cup of tea and get cozy. It's time to get honest and vulnerable and shift the traditional mindset around motherhood. Be sure to subscribe to be the first to know when new episodes are released. Get ready to grow and feel empowered as a mom. I'm here for you, Mama. Let's get started. If you've ever questioned your path as a mother or felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, especially if you're caring for a child with special needs, I have something just for you today. I am absolutely thrilled to bring you a conversation with the incredible Susanna Peace Lovell. Susanna is a life coach, author, and fierce advocate for families of children with special needs. Her journey as a single mother raising her daughter, who is now grown, and has faced some diagnoses including autism, ADHD, severe food allergies, has been nothing short of inspiring. What I love most about Susanna is her ability to blend vulnerability with strength and to approach life's unexpected turns with grace and authenticity. Today, she opens up with us about the lessons she learned from her daughter, the power of following her inner wisdom, and the importance of self-care as a caregiver. So grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and join us for this heartwarming and soul-nourishing conversation. Hi, Susanna. I am so happy you're here, friend.
I am so happy to be here and so good to see your smiling, glowy, radiant face.
Oh,
Yeah,
same.
I'm like soaking in your energy right now. So love it.
This is going to
Yay.
be such a fun conversation. Yeah, I feel like we're kindred spirits, soul
Yes.
sisters.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's such an honor to get to chat with you. And I'm excited to explore your book and your journey and everything in between.
Hmm.
You start by just sharing a little bit, a peek into your story.
Yes, I would love to. I am, I wear many hats, as most of us mamas do. And I will say that my world is really a beautiful mix. My sort of work life and my personal life are just they all are integrated and flowing together. And what I mean by that is that I am a single mama. I have one daughter who is now 18 years old. She is a legal adult that she likes to remind me about. We just registered her to vote for the first time, so this is really exciting. And she has myriad disabilities and diagnoses, and medical sort of challenges in terms of severe food allergies. She happens to also be autistic. She has the diagnosis of ADHD. She really, has the challenge of experiencing very severe anxiety at times, debilitatingly so. And so because of this journey that I've been on with her, it has been, this beautiful opening for me to create this work sort of work life around advocating for other disability families as well. So, I've always had a heart of service my whole life. I've always loved to give back. I feel like my cup can be filled quickly and overflow. And I love to share that overflow with others in my life. And so it's really been this insane, unexpected journey of, a parallel journey of raising my daughter and also sort of like having this amazing awakening to my own self, to my own sort of authentically, who am I at my core experience. So yeah, so I raise her. I like to say that her name is Arizona. I'm raising Arizona, and I am just sharing everything that I'm learning along the way, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, the uncomfortable, the messy, the wins, the aha moments, all of that with my beloved disability community that I didn't know I was going to be a part of. So,
Thank you for sharing that with us. And your book is called Your True Self is Enough. And I highly recommend it. Such a
mm,
beautiful read. And, whether you have a child with similar diagnoses or not, it's just such a beautiful insight to tuning into your inner wisdom as a
mm.
parent, as a human, and following that guidance. I saw that in so many places in that book, on your journey. And in the book, you so beautifully share, your journey with your daughter. And there's this intuition that we all have as humans, and I feel like that's heightened as in motherhood. Um, but there's times where we're told, you know, or made to feel like our knowing isn't relevant. And you speak of your journey with your daughter's diagnosis and how you had to follow your inner knowing. Can you share a little bit more about that part of your journey?
Yes, and I have to agree with you wholeheartedly in terms of this thing that happens. When once we become a mom, it's just like all of a sudden, it's just this sort of insight, the gut feeling. I think that we always have some sort of inner voice, but now that maybe we're taking care of somebody else, it is very heightened. It's so obvious. It feels like almost like you kind of know exactly, not maybe not exactly what to do, but kind of the direction or the feeling like, something's not right, something's off, that kind of thing. I just, again, I will say that, raising my daughter and being Arizona's mom has been one of the most, sort of one of the biggest opportunities for me to grow spiritually as an individual. I honestly feel that if I had not had the daughter or the motherhood experience that I've had for the last 18 years, I would absolutely not be so aware of my own unmet needs and my own, gifts to share with the world. I feel like I would be so numb to this life for sure. I feel like that I would just be doing what everyone else is doing. There is a culture of that, in parenting and in motherhood. And certainly here in Los Angeles, there's some extra stuff in terms of like, well, they have to go to this private school and then this one and then this one and then. And I sort of got sucked into that early on. And so I felt like, I wasn't really paying attention to Arizona for exactly who she was. I thought she was different. This is before she had any diagnoses. It just seemed she was a little stubborn. She was developing differently than I had ever seen another child develop. But I just kind of glossed over all of that because I was trying to, I don't know. I was trying to participate in life from the outside in, if that makes sense,
Oh, yeah.
instead of the inside out. And so, anyway, tapping into that inner voice, like that consciousness around, something's a little bit different here. I think maybe I need to. And I really feel like that gut instinct and that, sort of that feeling was also something very heightened in the early stages of Arizona's developmental journey because I had a lot of professionals, a lot of doctors, a lot of therapists just tell me like that I was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I mean? Like, you are a new mom, you're worrying too much, don't worry, like chill out, you know? Um, yeah, I mean, I had one doctor even just be like, okay, you need to relax, you need to get some sleep, and maybe you should hire a nanny, you know? And I was like, no, but there's something going on, you know? So I feel like coming back to that gut feeling was definitely, an experience that I had over and over again in terms of like just checking in with myself, in the stillness and just being like, huh, yeah, I don't agree with that, you know?
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And not that that's bad advice to get some sleep in. Hire a
Of
nanny,
course. Yeah, listen,
but
right.
yeah, when you don't feel heard and you know there's something like deeper going on, like that, yeah, that can be so hard to still keep tuning in, to still keep saying, I know there's something here. So thank you for sharing that so openly. I find it really inspiring to hear from other women, stories of leaning into our knowing because it helps give us examples, it helps give us this kind of permission slip when we're not sure if we should
Yes.
do it. Yeah, and reminds
Right.
us of our knowing and our power that we have. So thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yes. Yes, you're so welcome.
And I noticed the theme of there's so many beautiful things that stood out in your book, but affirmations. I love how you explored affirmations. And can you walk us through like what role did that play? What impact did that have? How can we lean into that powerful practice?
Yeah. It's something that, I had to learn along the way by, doing everything else wrong. I was always looking for support, but I was beating myself up in the process. And I was like, this is actually not serving me. I'm not getting anywhere further because I'm beating myself up. And certainly we all have those days, but I feel like I had to just completely shift my lens and my perspective in terms of looking at my daughter, right? Because I'm so it started with me just seeing my daughter for who she was, right? And I felt like I had to do that because every time I'm, talking to a therapist or a doctor or, and I was carting her to like multiple therapies a week and sitting in the waiting areas and talking to the therapists after session. And it was always about, of course, they had these goals, but there were these metrics and they were always comparing
Mm.
Arizona to other metrics based on another child, her age, or whatever it was, whatever they do, right? And there's a lot of deficit based, language just by nature of, going to a therapy and having goals and things like that. And so I just was so like, ouch, in terms of just the language and even like certain psychological testing that we did early on. I remember the first psychologist that we went to do an assessment with at the regional center was just like, oh, she made a mistake. Oops, she missed that one. Oh, failed. You know what I mean? And I'm not exaggerating. I am absolutely not exaggerating. So the affirmations that I had to first put forth toward Arizona, so that was the first step, like affirming, like, okay, Arizona is Arizona, right? Arizona is not autism. She's not ADHD. She's not food allergies. She's not, anxiety. She is Arizona. She is this perfectly intact soul, right? She is complete. She's whole. And so I had to say those things to her often so that I wouldn't lose sight of, this beautiful human being that chose me, that came through me to be a part of my sphere, right? And so that we would be on this journey together as human beings on this earth in this lifetime. So it really started there. And when I mean, the mind shift, the heart shift, everything was just, it was so palpable. And I was like, I actually maybe I'm not broken either. You know what I mean? Like, hey, how about that? And so I just started affirming to myself, Susanna, you are enough. You are perfect and whole and complete. And, most of the time, I actually don't believe that, to be honest. But I have to be reminded that that is true. That is absolutely, in fact, true. So, the affirmations, again, it's just one of the tiny little things that I've learned from being Arizona's mom, that has, had the ripple effect to then enhancing and being so additive to my own spiritual life.
Do you feel overwhelmed and anxious? Do you wish you could stop losing your temper with your kids and just have more fun as a mom? Do you crave finding more time to do the things you love without feeling guilty? I get it, Mama. I've been there. That's why I created the Vibrant Mom Life membership. Imagine what life would look like if you could finally get out of survival mode, consistently find time for yourself, and be the calm, present mom you've always wanted to be. This membership will help you step out of anxiety and overwhelm and help you find time for yourself without the guilt. Inside Vibrant Mom Life, you'll find monthly themes that will help you shift your mindset, get out of survival mode, and find time for the things you love, all while being the mom you want to be. Plus, you'll find guided meditations and yoga practices that will help you effortlessly infuse your days with self-care. And I know that some days are harder than others, so you'll even find a library of short and sweet guided affirmations so you can simply press play and reconnect with your inner calm in just minutes. Join Vibrant Mom Life today by going to soulcaremom.com/membership so you can stop running on empty and truly enjoy mom life. I can't wait to welcome you inside, Mama.
Ah, wow. Yeah, I love that. I think so much of our journey of self-awakening and all of these things start in motherhood anyway, start with our kids because we see them, we want the best for them, and it kind of opens us up to like, okay, I see that it's not an outer game anymore, right? It's this, how do I
Yes.
look within? How do I see myself as whole? How do I give myself love? And then I can share that with others, with my kids, with the world. Um, and Arizona is, like you said, she's this whole beautiful, perfect being. And as we all are, and it's an interesting thing because I think these humans that are coming forth that are maybe don't fit into our world in the way that it's just simple
Yeah.
and uncomplicated for us,
Yeah.
they're paving the way for
Yes.
change,
Yes.
huge change. And I
Yes.
think we can
Yes.
see that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and for certain, all of us, I think, as parents and mothers, like we maybe some of us are living out the exact vision that we, had for ourselves, maybe. But most of us have unexpected things that go on, I mean, that's just part of adding, other human beings to the mix. But yeah, I agree that it is such an opportunity for growth, for transformation, if you choose for that, if you are sort of awakened and open and, available for that. And that's what's so beautiful. And if you can't access that today, maybe you can tomorrow, right? So I feel like we just get so many chances. Um, and I just love every morning just realizing, yep, the sun has risen again. You know, guess what? It's a new day, right?
I love that you shared your affirmations, but also that it doesn't always ring true. Like it doesn't always resonate in, even though we're whole, we're these
Yes.
beautiful, beings here on earth experiencing life in these bodies. And yeah. Um, and that it's okay. It's okay that we keep trying, we keep coming back to ourselves. We keep every moment's not gonna be perfect. We're gonna disconnect from ourselves every once in a while. And the journey is to keep reconnecting. And I love that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And something that I loved in your book were these places where you paused and you shared your truths and you called them truth corners. I love that so much. And I think
Mhm.
as women, we need women in our lives that show up with honesty and vulnerability and share these things with us, and people we can connect with on this really beautiful, deep level, who create this safe space for us to open up to, um, yeah, to just really nourish us. And so if there's a mom listening right now and she's feeling inspired by your story, but
Mm.
she's still feeling kind of apprehensive about her path forward, whether it's a diagnosis for her child, herself, or any big challenge, that she's facing, what would you say to her?
Yeah, I think I would start off with, and this is something, I honestly feel like I teach what I most need to learn because I'm saying this to you, but I'm also saying this to myself as a reminder, which is to just start, right now, like what is real and true for me right now, like just self-speaking to myself. Like I would I would tell the mom, like, yeah, first of all, let's turn on this, as much compassion, as much sort of like compassion that we can turn inward to ourselves. As much as possible, because we need to start there, right? Because when we're starting from a place of like, worry or anxiety or not knowing or just, apprehensive, like that's what sort of takes over, and we forget that we deserve this, like, understanding of, yeah, it's so understandable that you are overwhelmed or you are worried or you are anxious or that you are feeling alone or that you are just, yeah, like overwhelmed beyond the max, I love to start with that self-compassion, saying to myself, all the time, it's perfectly understandable why you're feeling this way and why you don't know what to do next and why you might feel shame and why you might feel it's your fault, or and then from there to then just check in, like, okay, so where are the places in me that just feel like just, like ouchy, what's hurting, what is not feeling comfortable, and just exploring, I mean, just sitting with all of the, like I said, all of the messiness, all of the ups, the downs, and just start there. But I also feel like, there is this self-talk that we don't do enough to ourselves, which is that, what is good for me, what is good for me is good for my child. What is great for me is great for my child. And I know that we say that, and, most of the time I really feel that. But then it, the doubt and the guilt creeps in, and also too, that negativity around, okay, well, stop being so selfish, Susanna. You're a mom, and so of course you need to put your child first all the time, and that is absolutely not true. Of course we have emergencies, and certainly we have to respond and react right away, but I love that affirmation to self too, like, what's good for you, Susanna, is good for the universe, period. you know
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of conditioning that we go through up until, the point that we become mothers, whenever that is, on our journey. And like you were saying, what's good for me is good for them. What's good for me is good for others. What's good for me is good for the world. And what if that is putting them first? We've been taught, all of these things, all of this conditioning that keeps us from really thriving and being able to be there for our children in the best way. So I love that. And starting with self-compassion, that's so beautiful.
yeah.
We definitely, yeah. I know I need that more and more, even though I've been on a journey of self-compassion. I think there's no end to like that work of being kind to yourself. Yeah.
There's no limit, right? I just feel like it's not like, okay, I brushed my teeth today, never need to brush it again. You know what I mean? Like, I
Done. Yeah,
exercised today, I'm done forever. Yeah, it's one of those things that we just need to keep refilling.
for sure. Thank you. So there's this really beautiful turning point, I feel like, in your book. it's a conversation that you shared with your daughter, and there were so many places that brought tears to my eyes. I'm going to cry again, but but you
Mm.
were talking about Arizona, and you said suddenly A looked up from her doll and exclaimed, matter of fact, mommy, I just I just like the way I am. And then she went back to playing. And finally, something clicked for me. The sky really was the limit for both of us as long as we could accept and love ourselves.
Mhm.
I feel like that fits right into what we were
Mhm.
saying. But what did that moment mean to you?
Mhm. Again, it's just like, here I am, raising this daughter who is, was so unexpected in so many different ways, like just at every turn, like every journey, there were, every stage. And she is such a literal child, right? She's so literal. She just has no filter. She speaks the truth. The title of my book, Your True Self is Enough, is actually her words. She titled the book, right? She wrote the foreword. And so I just, to me, it was almost like that's all that matters. That moment of truth telling, like just unabashed, without edit, nothing, just straight up, like, I just like the way I am, mama, and I was like, and that is really, isn't that kind of what we want for our children to, of course, we want them to feel confident and secure and all of these things, but really to like themselves, to be in love with themselves and to be okay with who they are and how they show up in this world. I mean, that has been, one of the millions of lessons I've learned from being Arizona's mother. And, even in the moments where I cannot access like self love, many moments, I have to just sometimes even tell myself, fake it till I make it. Like, okay, I am perfect. I'm whole. I love myself. I love myself. I hate myself. I love myself, right? I love who I am. I love how I can show up for people. I love how I can show up for myself, right? So it's just these little gems that, you know, honestly make the challenging bits of this journey, which there have been so many. It has not been balanced in my experience. It just makes it makes it feel like, yeah, there's a purpose, there's a reason, you know, and it makes me feel so connected to center and so connected to, her spirit connecting with mine and us being sort of intertwined energetically. It is just delicious when those moments happen. Yeah.
I love that. I love that she's literal.
Yes.
I kind of like, I wonder if like, if we could all just be more, well, all love ourselves, but be more honest. And you know how the 2-year-old will throw the tantrum and let the energy out. And you know what I mean? And they ask for what they need. And we kind of stopped doing that somewhere along the way, right? We stopped like letting ourselves feel and be and all of these things. And so it's beautiful that she, yeah, continues to show up as herself and, yeah, honor that.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, listen, it is sometimes we have to work on our voice volume or when we're like in public or whatever. And yeah, it is a beautiful thing. And the reason why we stop doing that is because people keep telling us to be quiet, right? I was in the elevator with this newborn, well, it was a newborn baby with a dad, okay, in the elevator, right? And the baby's crying, probably 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. It was like in a doctor's office, okay? Baby's crying. This dad was like, shh, 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 and I'm thinking, that's when it starts so early. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the baby is uncomfortable or hungry or whatever it is. It's okay. You know, I
Yeah.
don't mind. You know what I mean? But like, it's anyway, it's unfortunately how we have been conditioned.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It really does start early. And I know that I felt that pressure too. Like when when it's my child, when it's other people's children, I'm like, it's totally fine. Like I
Right,
get it.
right.
But when
Yes.
it's kind of like, okay,
Yes.
we need to be quiet. We're in a crowded place. Yeah. Um,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
but I mean, I've heard that too. Like, shh, don't cry, no matter the age of the kid, don't cry.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it
Right.
really does start so young. And okay, so can we talk about self-care? I think
Yeah.
so you have been through so much, you and your daughter, and I can imagine that self-care must have been a part of that journey. And of course it was. Like you talked earlier about, the spiritual journey you've been on and all of these things. How what are some of your how did self-care play a part? What are some of your favorite practices now?
Yes. Well, I love that you say now because things shift and change so much on our journeys. Like, again, it's all about sort of what my unmet need is, what my soul and spirit is yearning right now and craving, the feelings, the qualities, the vibes, all of that. Um, so I actually have this practice where I ask myself daily, and sometimes multiple times a day, like, okay, Susanna, what does self-care, what does, true soul care, right?
Yeah.
Um, look like for you today? Okay. And I will just sit in the stillness. I'm not a big meditator. I don't even, it's very hard for me to sit still, but I will have this conversation with myself again, like multiple times a day. Like, what does self-care look like for you today? What does it look like for you in the next hour? What does it look like for you as you're picking up Arizona from school in the middle of crazy Los Angeles traffic and did it right? And I feel like, there are certain core values that I always sort of go to in terms of what I love to be a part of my day. And that is accessing joy, finding joy, accessing joy, experiencing joy. It could be, honestly, it could be like, oh my goodness, I have leftovers and I'm going to make the most delicious stir fry for lunch and I'm going to have a Diet Coke. Hee hee hee, whatever it is, right? It's just, I mean, it could be that simple. It could be, you know what? I'm actually not going to take that phone call of the individual that I adore and is going to at least sort of set me off for 45 minutes, right? I'm going to eat my lunch peacefully without looking at my computer. I am going to schedule, a tennis session tomorrow with my next door neighbor, right? It's just, it depends. Like accessing joy for sure, moving my body is like almost like an instant portal to accessing joy. I love being outside. Um, Luckily in Southern California, we can often be outside. Like it doesn't matter what time of the year. Um, Even if it's raining, it's very rarely, a torrential downpour. So I just love, I love writing in my journal. That to me is honestly like such instant, therapeutic practice. So cathartic for me. Writing, I can't not write. And so I just, again, it depends on the day. Like, I play piano. Was classically trained. I grew up playing the piano from the age of 4. I took lessons. And, Arizona doesn't always love when I'm playing the piano because she'd rather listen to her very loud, K-pop music or whatever it is that, is on her playlist. And so when she's in school and I just need to get some feelings out, I will bang away on my piano or I'll make up a song or and it to me, it's just this instant like feeling of calm. Affirmations for sure. But again, I just think that, we have, for everything there is a season, and I feel like what we need and what we understand is additive to our lives at various times is going to shift and change. And I think that it's okay to be open about that, and just seek that out even like, okay, what could I do that's new and could feel so supportive? So I just believe the universe responds so quickly and well. I believe that we have a very benevolent God that wants us to access joy and happiness and connection and laughter and, delicious things in life.
Oh my goodness. I love that so much. What a beautiful practice and a great practice of tuning in, right? Of what is my inner wisdom telling me today? What is it telling me right now? And I love that you said it's not just the things that you do, but it might be the things that you choose not to do that can be part of your self-care. Like
Oh,
maybe it's not
yes,
answering the phone right now. And
yes,
that's okay. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, or saying, you know what, I'm not going to always volunteer for whatever the need is at school just because I feel like I need to give back so that, people will pay attention to my kid more. Whatever it is, right? Like there are so many things that we say yes to that we really don't want to say yes to. We don't.
Right. It's one of the shoulds. Like I feel like I should do this. I do. And then yeah.
Man, yeah, that takes practice. But we have so
Yes.
many opportunities for it because I feel like, as moms, we are pulled in so many different people are always asking for stuff. I'm like,
Yes.
what do you need? Yeah.
Yeah, besides the children.
Right.
Yeah, it
Right.
feels like it's coming from all directions.
Yes.
Uh, and I love that you talked about music. And I don't play piano, but my girls are learning. And so it's just like hearing the music and hearing how it's gone from playing notes to like chords and just it's so beautiful and soul nourishing. And so I love that you use that as your therapy and your meditation and your self-care. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, it's so good. It's so much more fun to play the piano now than having to take lessons and play in competitions. I was very competitive and it was so stressful. Recitals, exhibitions, competitions, it was so I didn't enjoy it growing up. But now it is just it's so just it really just like is a nice hug for myself, you know? It's like
I
giving
love
myself
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I can imagine that would be stressful competing and yeah, putting that kind of pressure on something that you really enjoy. It would
yeah,
take some of that away.
yes.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask a quick favor. This is an independent podcast. It's produced, recorded, and marketed by me, so I would love your help. Please share this podcast with your friends. Post about it on social media. Tell your girlfriends over lunch. Share about it with the moms at the park or at your next PTA meeting or homeschool co-op meetup. And please take a moment to subscribe and to leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It will help more moms find and benefit from this work, and it will make my heart so happy.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your whole journey with us. And I always love to ask, because I love the wisdom that comes from this, that if you could go back in time and share something with your younger self, what would you tell her? What would you want her to know?
Oh, so many things, right? So many things. But I would say, even as my younger mommy self, because that's sort of what I'm feeling right now, that's who I feel needs to hear this message the most. My new mommy self, right? 18 years ago, I would say, Susanna, everything is okay. Everything is going to be okay. It might look different, it might feel hard, it might be uncomfortable, and everything is exactly as it's meant. Everything will be okay. And I really believe that, I really absolutely believe that. And so I wish that, well, first of all, I wrote this book because this is what I had wished for when I was a new mother going through this journey. I wish there would have been some sort of roadmap or blueprint or something, just a little something, little guide. I had nothing. I found nothing. Um, and so I feel like my book is actually a message to my younger new mommy self. So,
Oh, how beautiful. And I know that mothers are going to, I know I was touched by it and found so much hope and joy and inspiration from it. And I know that so many others are as well and will. So if you're listening and you don't have her book yet, please go out and get it. It's so, so beautiful. Thank you, Susanna, for being here. And Yeah, can you let us know where we can connect with you? Where can we get your book?
Yeah, so my book is actually on Amazon. If you just do a search on my name, Susanna Peace Lovell, or Your True Self is Enough, it'll pop right up. And but I also have a website that is my first, middle, and last name.com, SusannaPeaceLovell.com. And that is spelled SusannaPeaceLovell.com. So I have everything there too. You can find a link to my book on Amazon. And then I'm also on Instagram as at Mama Peace, MAMAPEACE. And I have a link tree that has a link to so many of my offerings and sharings with my beloved
I love
community.
that. Thank you. We'll include those in the notes so everybody can find you. But thank you so much for being here. It was a joy to have this conversation with you.
I know. Thank you. It was such a long time coming, and I'm so grateful for your platform. It is every time I see an email from you and your email signature, it just makes me feel so happy. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, love. This is just a reminder that Soul Care Mom offers information that's shared with love and intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. You should not rely on this information as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have any concerns or questions about your health, you should always consult with a trusted healthcare provider. Thank you for being here, and know that I am sending you so much love. Thanks for joining me, Mama. I'm over here smiling from ear to ear and giving you a big virtual hug. I love spending this time with you. You are amazing for showing up and carving out this space to nourish your soul. If you are loving the Soul Care Mom podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And if you are ready to start your mornings feeling calm and energized, get the Kickstart Your Calm Morning Guide, a self-care morning ritual for moms, as a free gift when you join the Soul Care Mom community. Head over to soulcaremom.com/kickstart and enter your email address to get your free gift and start feeling like a calm mom today. Sending you so much love, Mama.